Welcome to this episode of Get Ready with Me. Yes, get ready with me. I just did a testimony series, so as I look into the camera, yeah, I'm excited, y'all. I'm so excited. So my testimony this week's Get Ready with Me and the testimony I talked about rather, was learning to trust God with your story. And I said Psalm, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart. So if you want to see or hear that testimony service, go to, I just posted it not too long ago. So with that being said, let's do the Get Ready with Me. Yes. Oh my goodness. And I'm just going to talk about what was the faith lesson. Breakthrough often begins with. Breakthrough often begins where your control ends. Yeah. I'm going to say that one more time. Breakthrough often begins where your control ends. Yes. I had to let go of control in order to trust God because the impact of being assaulted sexually, the stuff that I went through, the domestic violence, all that I went through, y'all, I needed control. I needed control. Yes, I did. I'm going to be honest. I was like, I needed control because God, you did not show up for me as I thought back then. That was my before I started trust God, and God was like, let's work with this. Let's work through this. So I was like, okay, God, I see you. Okay. So the more I started trusting God, the more I understood that I could trust Him with my story. I may not have trusted myself, but in order to trust God, I had to go through the go through. And it was like, okay, God, I trust you. I see you. So little by little, time over time, like, okay, God, here you go. So he took my story and he's using it for his glory. And because the impact of me trusting God, there's other people that I have impacted with my story, you know. I remember when I talked at a recovery center, and my gosh, when I was like, God showed up, when I said breakthrough happened, I was like, wow, God, I see. And trusting Him with all my heart and not leaning to my own understanding, I was like, okay, God, I see. I see why I need to trust you, you know. And He didn't hold it against me. He was like, I got you, baby girl. I got you. You are my daughter. You are royal. Anything that I have is yours, you know? So yeah, God is so good, y'all. God is so good. He does not hold anything against us. You know, He understands. All we have to do is invite Him. Invite Him to your pain. I had to invite Him in places that people could not understand, like the trusting part. Like I did not trust people. Like it was hard because of what happened around the me being sexually assaulted, you know, the events that led up to it. So it left me not trusting anyone, y'all, not even myself, and let alone God. And I tell people, especially those who are Christians, and you know, it's like if someone say that they don't trust God, just pray. Like, okay, don't judge them. Do not judge those who are going through their situation where like that's their journey, because I remembered when I was like, you know what, I don't want to talk to nobody, like growing up with a father who was anointed by God, was healed, you know, like he had a relationship with God, he was called, he was anointed. I was like, you know what, I don't want to hear you, God, you know, you wasn't there for me. And that was just the enemy being like, you know what? I thought God was going to be there for you. Was He there for you? And I started listening to the enemy, and I was like, no. And then God was like, but God saw that. God was like, I'm going to take that and use it for my glory because you're going to let other people know who are struggling with trusting me, to let them know that it's okay. Because guess what? I trust God now. So the enemy could come to me and say, "Ooh, remember? You think God loves you? You think God trusts you? You trust in God? Why? Yup. Because guess what? He showed up for me. So I was like, wow, God, okay. Okay. So God loves us so much. He loves us like he loves us like for real. When we feel like we're not deserving of his love, we have to stop that. The enemy want us to be like them silent them silent whispers like the enemy does not have to be loud. The enemy can whisper in us like, "Oh girl, you did this, you did that. You think God loved you?" Yeah, he does. He loves me. Oh yes, he does. Why? Cuz God so loved me that he gave his only begotten son so that I may have life. So I may have everlasting life. And a lot of times when we need to do is take these scriptures and be personal. 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 Okay, so I'm using this one. So yeah. So my makeup look. Now, I this palette here I'm using because I think I used this palette maybe twice so far. So I need to get out the habit of buying palettes and not using them because, ooh. So I need to start using what I have. Like God's example, God will use, look, God will use what you have. Like for real. Like we, a lot of times we want to know, God, how you gonna do this? How you gonna do that? I'm in a season where, okay, God, I need you to show up. I need you to show up in a mighty way. Guess what? I trust him. Like, I'm not going to worry about nothing. Okay, God. All right. You got me. Because why? You said it. I trust you. I trust you. I'm not trying to figure out the way, the answer, because guess what? Everything on this earth is yours. Everything on this earth is yours. And guess what? Because I'm your beloved daughter, I have access, y'all. And so we have to be bold and be like, you know what? We don't have to earn God's love. God has given us his love. And no matter what you've done in your life, there is nothing that you've done that God will prevent you from having it. Now, what gets in our way is God's timing. Because we be like, okay, God, when are you going to show up? We need to stop trying to figure out God's timing because he will show up. He will show up. I had to stop figuring out, okay, God, I'm just getting kind of nervous there. Kind of nervous. But okay, God got it. Because he will provide. He will provide. He will provide our every need. That is God's promise. Like his promise. Okay. I'm gonna use another. So sometimes we just have to be patient. Patience is a virtue. Why? Saith the Lord. So sometimes we have to practice patience and stop trying to do God's job. Like, and I'm talking because I used to do God's job and did not turn out right. But God's okay. That's when God's grace and mercy kicks in because he already knew us. He knew us before our mother's womb. So yeah, that's my outlook. Something simple, you know. So I just love God. You know, he will sit us down. Like me, I was sick since I went to work. Wednesday was fine, y'all. Y'all, I was fine. Let me tell you, I woke up Thursday morning. I called my manager at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I ain't gonna be coming. I won't be able to come in. I said, because I am sick. I could not talk. Ooh, I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. But sometimes God will sit us down, be like, girl, if you don't sit down, I do not want God to sit me down. Because let me tell you, woo. So because I had to sit down, I was in the bed up until today. So yeah, God will sit us down for His purpose, and we don't, but God got us. He provided. He provides our every need. So, with that being said, let me get my. But as I was being still, resting, I was like, okay, God, I need to start trusting you. And so, part of my reason for doing this was like, I need to learn, like, there are people out here who do not trust you for whatever reason. And they need to know that even though you doubt God, He is not going to hold that against you. He loves you anyway, no matter what. Ooh, sorry, y'all. No matter what you have done, He loves you anyways, y'all. God loves you. So, with that being said, I'm going to finish up because I can talk. So, what I need, I just wanted to share that. Like, God loves you no matter what you've done. Nothing that you have done will stop God from loving you, trusting you, but you just have to lean not to your own understanding and let go of the control. Okay? Now, time for me to put on my Urban Decay. I almost threw this away, y'all, because I was like, I don't like it. But then I tried it again, and I was like, ooh, I love this formula. Okay? All right. Now, get some pill. Ooh, sorry, y'all. Trying to learn not to. Okay? See? I had to trust this formula because I almost threw it away. Like I had to trust God because I almost didn't trust Him. Ooh, sorry, y'all. Me not trusting God would have been the biggest mistake of me. But God did not hold it against me. And now I realize that even though I didn't trust a lot of people, I could trust God. And once I started trusting God, I was able to trust myself. And once I started trusting myself, guess what? I started trusting other people. And it's like the dominoes effect. Okay? All right, let me finish up. It's a nice, simple, I ain't going nowhere. Just look beautiful. Okay? Ooh, sorry, y'all. I'm learning. I'm learning. Okay? And then I need to, the same brush, use demented. Okay? Just a simple, neutral look. Simple, neutral look. Nothing. Just a simple look. Okay? Get my You know what I'm proud of? I have decluttered a lot of my complexion products. So I'm down to my holy grails. Hmm. Put some eyeshadow, mascara. Okay, my earrings. Okay. Ooh. Alrighty. My earrings. Okay. Alrighty. And this is the look. One more thing. My powder. I almost forgot this, y'all. Okay. My powder. Right here. Okay. Okay. Do that. Okay. And then, okay. Boom. And this is the finished look. Nice and simple. Very little. Yeah, I like it. Boom. So this is the Get Ready with Me, learning to trust God with your story. Um, Man, I just want to thank you guys for coming along with the journey and trusting me to go along with your journey. So, with that being said, remember that breakthrough often begins where you where your control ends. I'm going to say that one more time. Breakthrough often begins where your control ends. And remember, with breakthrough, there's beauty in the breakthrough. Thank you for joining me this week for another Get Ready with Me. Y'all have an awesome blossom day. And remember, God loves you and there's nothing that you can do about it. All right. Take care. All righty. Bye bye. See y'all next time.